Hey guys, I'm from Chewy Side, and here's a track guide for Sonoma. Possibly the hardest track on the schedule, just for the reason, these cars suck ass right now. At road courses, they're even worse than last year, by almost 2 seconds, at least it seems like. Don't know what caused it, something to do with the suspension and aero changes. All I know is it's absolutely awful. It's not much of a setup issue, it's just the car. I mean, it's drivable and fun, you just gotta learn how. So I'm using a different editing software this time than I've been used to in the past, so things might be slightly different, not sure. But the keys to the race card, number 1, tires like it is every week, except it's even more important here. Which leads us into number 2, because wheel spin. You want to minimize as much wheel spin as you possibly can. You don't want none, period. So you're in a fine line between accelerating as much as you possibly can without spinning the tires, which is almost an impossible task later in a run. And number 3 is pit strategy, 55 lap race. You can make it on 1 stop, but you're going to be so slow after so many laps. It's not worth it, maybe? I don't know. You can make it on 2. People are going to do it on 1. We'll see how that plays out. And before we get to the lap, I'm going to probably do this for every video now on the Cup schedule because of the new pit exit rule. So we're just going to take a look at the, where that is, where the merge line is, where all that nonsense is. So let's take a look. All right, we're going towards those green cones, which is your pit speed exit. So once you're past that, you can accelerate on without a penalty. You want to stay between the, yellow line with those little thingies there and the wall, and you want to exit between these 2 cones. Anything before that might result in a penalty. So let's get to the lap. All right, here we are about to take our lap. Fixed setup with the fixed weather, which is default of a 107 track temp, 78, air temp in the normal afternoon. Now, I mentioned this because the Open Series is actually late afternoon, meaning cooler temps, faster speeds. Not to be confused. This is what the fixed is running, so it's going to make it even more intense. And the fixed setup is garb. I think it is, at least. I don't know. It bottoms out all over the place. It feels weird, but it's not like it's the worst thing out there. Open setup's not that much better. So I have a 12-to-1 steering ratio, and I move the brake bias to 66%, just for that little extra bit of stability. And those are really the only changes you can make and fix, so there you go. Now I'm going to put a little thingy up that numbers each gear that I'm going to be in. I'm going to try to time it so it's exactly right, but hopefully that'll help some people out. But let's go ahead and take this lap and see how crazy the nonsense was. So here we go. Alright, so there we have it for 118.1. You can see in that really fast right-hander before the hairpin. I kind of screwed that up, so I could have been better, but it's pretty tough already, so I don't know how else to explain this. We'll try to get through it as best we can. Let's get to the turn 1 because, yeah. So anyways, we're in 3rd gear at this point. I don't shift to 4th because there's really no reason to, and it's almost impossible to because you're not carrying enough speed. So here's one of the only places where I'm full throttle. And things get, I think the hardest part of the entire lap is right here. Going into 1, the car gets really upset. We're aiming for this apex here. You can see I'm already using the brake and that's sort of stabilizing the car. I'm using throttle to also stabilize the car. I'm turning right. I'm rolling at this point. Use some more throttle to straighten it out. You can speed up just a hair here. Get on the brakes. I think I downshifted from 3rd to 2nd there. And here we're just getting it all set up for the corner. So you want to play with the throttle brakes. You can see what I'm doing there in my inputs. If you just want to go off that alone, go ahead. Here I'm letting it roll because the car seems to want to roll really well depending on how you got the car stopped. But once you get it turned through the center, you can start picking the gas up, but you know, it's going to want to snap around. So you got to really play with the throttle like you see me doing here. I mean, you can see I'm not even 70%. I mean, I'm playing with the throttle so much. This is also one of the hardest parts because the car gets really weird. But you can see as I'm going over the hump, I'm getting on the brakes and setting up for this left-hander, and we're going to let it roll once we get it turned in. And we can speed it up just a hair here to get prepared for the right-hander. And again, the car really likes to roll, so you can just let it roll into place. Now here's one of the trickiest parts because you're going uphill, then downhill. All that weight is getting thrown all over the place, so the tires don't know what to do, and you can see I'm fighting the car, but you really got to manage throttle over that hump. But once you're over it, you can pretty much, throttle down until we get to the next braking zone, which is right here. Now I'm kind of going to where, let me back that up. Damn it. Alright, so on my right, there's the IndyCar route. And here's this, I guess, cone, but I'm looking over there kind of, and I'm through the corner of my eye. And I'm getting on the brakes right when I'm getting to that spot. And I use a lot of brake here, and you want to roll off the brake quickly because it wants to lock up because of the hump that's right here. Between the pavement change, it looked like. And again, get it slowed down. The car's going to want to roll, and you can hit the curb to get it to turn even more. If you hit it too hard, though, you won't turn at all. It'll send you all the way out here, and it'll be a mess. Again, we're in 2nd gear still. We've been in 2nd gear ever since we downshifted from 3rd to 2nd. I drove all the way out here on the curb, used the curb, got all the way out, close to the wall. You're going to have to play with the throttle again, but eventually, once you get past the rumble strip, it'll hook up, as you see there. And that takes us to our next braking zone. Now, we were braking like 2 car lengths past this before in the past for some reason. At least that's how I remember it. But I'm braking about a car length or 2 before that. You can use this stand over here as a reference. But again, it all depends on your graphic settings. You might have lower settings that might not be there. After this billboard too, you can start braking about a car length after it. But let's just use this wall for example, since I think it's there no matter what. And try to judge, I say it's about 2 car lengths from the end of the wall is where I'm braking. And you see the throttle there, right? Oh no, that's just the way I drive, never mind. That's sort of the stabilizer guys. That's just my deal. So I'm braking really hard, 2 car lengths before the end of the wall. Using about 85 to 90%, backing it off again because of the bumps. It doesn't want to cooperate. And then I'm downshifting to 1st right here. Now you can skip that part of downshifting, but I think going to 1st helps it slow down better. You can see I'm starting to turn in while releasing the brake. And we're going to let it roll once we get it turned in. Get as close to that curb as possible without hitting it. You can probably get away with hitting it if you want. Use the throttle again to help turn the car. Here I'm still in 1st gear. You're going to use the throttle. As carefully as you can, accelerate as fast as you can. Here I'm shifting. That's what that lift was, so we're in 2nd gear now. We're going to full throttle once we get to the apex of this curb, which is still very hairy. We're going to upshift to 3rd right here. Keep it as close to this line as you possibly can. Use the brakes to get it set up for the next left-hander. Use some throttle to get it the way you want. Again, we're going to go to the right-hander now. A lot of weight transfer, and that's where these cars are struggling. Here's where you're going to use throttle. We're in third gear. Here it gets really loose, so you control your wheel spin and accelerate hard right here, but you're going to have to live because it's going to get loose once you get past this part of the corner. And you can see we're still trying to keep it over here. Once you hit this curb, I'm letting off the gas, getting on the brakes slightly. I overdid it here. You're holding the brakes, trail braking a little bit. Here, you're going to let it roll if you can. Use the gas again, because, I screwed that up. Get over here to the hairpin. And what I'm doing, I'm braking right after the car completely lands after this hump. Like right here, I'm on the brakes hard. Second gear, from third to second. You're going to see second to first right there. Use as much brake as you think the car needs. And again, these cars are very fond of trail braking. So I'm releasing the brake as I'm turning in because the car, again, really likes to roll with this fixed setup. Get it on point and use the gas again to get it accelerated. Use as much track as you can without forcing the car to turn. I'm still in first gear. Really playing with the throttle here. Shifting to second. Again, still, I'm not even full throttle yet because the car gets really upset. And then here I got loose, but I'm in third gear once I made that shift. So you got to be careful or it'll throw you like that. So that's pretty much all there is to this lap. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. It's just tough track. Main goal is going to be staying on track. So yeah. Anyways, sim racing, Chewy side.